Yo, what's up, people? What's up? What's happening? Welcome to another episode of the Meathead on the Mic podcast. It's your boy, IFBB PRO Matt Butale. Today, we're going to be talking about random headaches, where they come from, how to avoid them, and literally everything else, right? Everything else in between, how they affect us, all that shit. All right. So, stick around, stay tuned. This will be a quick one. I will be giving you guys and girls some actionable steps at the end of this podcast episode. All I want for you to do is share this out to a friend if you are watching this and you like what you see. What's up? I see you there, Zach. What's good? Hope you're doing good. AJ, appreciate you for joining. Thanks so much. All right, people. So if you're new here, you have the ability to put down comments and questions as I go along. And at the end, if I have time, I will respond. Yo, what's up, Bryce? See you there. He says, another day, another pod. Let's get it. Fuck yeah. Another 5 podcasts. I feel you, dog. I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. Much fucking love. Top supporter out here. All right. Let's get it done. Let's get it rolling. Let's talk about random headaches in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Yo, what's good, meatheads? Hope you're having an amazing day, and welcome to another episode of the Meathead on the Mic podcast. It's your returning champion, IFBB Pro Matt Butale, coming at you with another topic. And today, I'll be giving you some actionable steps as to how to get rid of random headaches, and also sort of be talking about where they might come from, depending on what some of the things that you might be doing in your life, some of the habits that you might have in your life, and we're gonna work on fixing them. All right, we're going to work on fixing them today. All right, so don't forget to screenshot and share this podcast to your IG story if you're watching this on the gram. Peace, love, and protein. You know what time it is. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the fucking sub. Don't be a sitting duck. And if you've got questions and you're watching this in the live stream, feel free to drop them. All right, so let's dive into this one here today. All right, so I've got a question for you guys and girls. You ever get those like out of nowhere, those random headaches? Like you'd just be like, I don't know, sitting on your phone or at a desk, or maybe even like you're driving or something, and you think it's like the sun hitting your eyes, and now randomly you've got a headache, which sometimes it could be if you're prone to migraines and things like that. But do you ever get those random headaches? Like just absolutely random. Out of nowhere, you've got like a banging headache, and sometimes you even know when it's about to start. You know what I mean? Do you ever get those? You ever get those? Because I do certainly sometimes. And I notice a certain pattern of habits that I would go through before that actually happens. And I don't get migraines. Like I don't, I'm not susceptible to migraines, but I've noticed there are some things that I do and some things that, my clients and other people do that actually get them closer to getting those random headaches, right? So they're not as random as you think. They're just sort of happening under the radar because we're not paying attention to some of the habits that we are, practicing, I guess, right? So before we dive into this, and we're going to talk about one very important habit that I know 90% of you guys struggle with. Before we dive into this, my question to you is how many milligrams of caffeine do you consume daily? Not coffee, not like how many milliliters, but how many milligrams of caffeine if you track that, right? You might not know the answer because you're thinking, well, I'm invincible. Caffeine does nothing to me. I can even have fucking 400 milligrams and I would still feel tired. There's some people that feel that way and it's for an obvious reason. Their body's gotten used to it. Okay. So if you can answer how much caffeine did you actually take on a daily basis, that might be the first step to figuring out why you actually get so many freaking headaches. That might be. Again, that's not the only thing. We're going to talk about the only thing in a little bit. All right. So if you think you're like Superman and caffeine pretty much does nothing to you, right? And you can take as much caffeine as you want and you still feel tired. I'm gonna ask you, like, did your body just randomly decide that caffeine wasn't gonna work on you? And even though you think that's the case, I'm here to tell you that it's not. The truth is that you're hooked. You might be a caffeine fiend. And it's the reason why you go from whatever, 2 iced coffees a day to even up to 4, right? Um, your justification is that, well, it doesn't hit the same anymore. So I've got to, get more coffee if I want more caffeine and if I want the effects of coffee. And that's technically how it works, right? When your body gets used to any substance, your tolerance increases, right? And as your tolerance decreases or increases, and as you increase it, whatever it is, if it's weed, if it's caffeine, if it's alcohol, your overall tolerance is going to go down. It's not going to be, sorry, it's going to go up. And if it goes down, it's because you decide to cut it off, right? That's really the only way to get it to go down. I noticed that when I'm like taking a lot of caffeine, like personally, I get random headaches only when I stop taking caffeine. Because like I know how it works. I know that if you take a certain amount of caffeine continuously, whatever it is, whether it's 200, 400, 600 milligrams, which I do not advise, if you take it constantly, you're going to get used to it. It's not going to hit the same. You're not going to feel, the same when you drink two coffees as opposed to when you have four coffees later on. It might even be equivalent. Like your old self would feel something off of two coffees as opposed to in the future you take four coffees and you feel like the same as if you had two, right? And that's just based off of your tolerance. It happens with weed, it happens with alcohol, it happens with pretty much any substance, almost every substance. The more you take of it, the more tolerant your body becomes of it. And then, through that, you're going to have to increase it in order to actually feel a similar amount or a similar feeling with, that you would normally feel with a less amount, right? And guys and girls, it takes one to know one. I used to be a caffeine addict, right? I take caffeine pretty much as a pre workout. It does help also as a fat burner. But I noticed that whenever I start to get really, really like used to it, I slowly cut it off. And then I'd go like from 400 down to 200 and then cut it off completely. And in the time that I cut it off, as a part of like the withdrawals, I would get the headaches. So that might be one thing that might start headaches for you randomly. If you decided, I want to cut out caffeine, or maybe you just had less coffee that day, your body could be going through some form of a withdrawal that is going to give you a random headache. That's one thing. But that's not the only thing. Okay. That's not the only thing that could give you a random headache, at least with what I'm talking about today, right? I'm talking about random headaches and correlations to the habits that you have. One of them might be drinking coffee or just consuming a lot of caffeine or pre workout, whatever it is, right? And when you know how that feels. It sucks when you're pretty much when you got a headache or when you are low on caffeine, you get random headaches, you get extreme fatigue, you get low motivation. Most of us feel that way, right? And if we can at least admit that we've abused caffeine, then we pretty much have like the first step, the first building block as to what we're going to be doing when it comes to getting rid of these headaches and how to like control our caffeine use, right? So how do we fix this? How do we incorporate caffeine for its benefits? It boosts your mood, it gives you energy, and it also has some diuretic effects, some fat burning effects. Like, how do we actually get the good without the bad? If you want to know that, you're going to follow these four rules here. And within one of these four rules is sort of like another explanation as to why you might be getting headaches. Okay. So, rule number one, do not take caffeine after 11 a.m. So, what most people don't know is that it takes caffeine about 10 to 12 hours to fully leave your system, which means you'll have difficulty sleeping if you take it in the noon, right? If you take it at 12 p.m., so 12 hours later is 12 a.m., and you're always struggling to like go to bed early. And, even if you take away your phone, even if you do all the other tips and tricks you've heard of online to help you get yourself into bed earlier, you notice it's still a bit harder to sleep simply because there's caffeine in your system. You may not know it. You just may think, oh, my body's just up. It doesn't want to sleep. But it might be caffeine in you from 12 hours ago. So don't take caffeine after 11 a.m. That would set you up to at least have your caffeine out of your system by 11 p.m., which is just before midnight. And honestly, if you go to bed at 11, no, it doesn't really matter what time you wake up the next day. You'll be getting a fair amount of sleep. It's like the worst time to go to bed if you wake up early in the morning, but it's still doable, right? So nothing after 11 a.m. That's the first rule. The second rule, and this one, of course, applies. This is case specific or case dependent. It depends on like, if you're a high caliber athlete or not. If you are somebody that is pretty much always at a desk or not moving much and not using a lot of their, not using their body physically, I would actually recommend to never exceed 400 milligrams of caffeine. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling you what you can and can't do, but I'm saying personally, with my personal experience and my experience in the fitness industry, I've noticed that people that exceed 400 milligrams of caffeine, they run into a lot of issues, right? And you get headaches more than anybody. Of course, it keeps your heart rate really high. You don't really want that. Again, this amount of caffeine is equivalent to 4 cups of coffee, assuming that a cup of coffee is about 100 milligrams of caffeine, right? And the more you use it, the more tolerant your body becomes, as I was talking about earlier, which is going to require you to use more, right? And this is dangerous because it will ruin your ability to get sleep. You'll always be tired and your headaches will always surface each and every other day that you decide to actually, take less caffeine or drop it altogether. And so the third rule here, guys and girls, is the sort of thing that I was actually talking about aside from caffeine earlier on that I was prefacing with, saying that it might not only be caffeine, it could also be, and this one is definitely like a no-brainer, it could also be your lack of hydration, with water. Okay. Okay. But not only with water itself, because there's other components that you might be overlooking or you just don't know about that are, you know, contributing to you getting random headaches. Okay, so what I would say to everybody that struggles with random headaches that doesn't take caffeine, or at least has stopped taking caffeine for a long period of time and no longer experiences the headaches due to withdrawal of caffeine, is I would recommend that you drink a consistent 3 liters or more of water a day while making sure you have a good amount of sodium and potassium in your diet. So, sodium and potassium, those are the things that most people don't know that if you don't consume enough of, you're not actually really getting hydrated. Like drinking 3 liters or more of water alone won't help you unless you have an adequate amount of sodium and potassium in your diet. Sodium and potassium are electrolytes. It's basically the stuff in Gatorade that actually keeps you hydrated, or in Powerade, or whatever electrolyte drink you consume. Potassium mainly. A good example would be like coconut water, right? You get a lot of potassium in coconut water, and it's an electrolyte that, when combined with sodium, is going to keep your body hydrated. Water alone will just dilute the micronutrient content that you've got in your body. And the micronutrient content just simply means, the vitamins that you have in your body, the salt, sodium, the potassium, all those micronutrients. If you just drink water and you don't replenish or replace the macronutrients that you're drinking water with, you're just going to be dehydrated, and you're still likely going to experience headaches. And this super applies to you if you are physically active, if you go to the gym, and or if you sweat a lot, because when you sweat, go figure, you lose a lot of micronutrients as well. You lose sodium, you lose potassium. Those are the two ones that I really want you to focus on, because it's very simple for you to actually change that. All you've got to do is salt your meals lightly and eat literally a diet that includes bananas, avocados, and potatoes, potassium rich foods, even coconut water, right? If you like that. I personally think it's disgusting. I don't like coconut water, so I don't drink it. But I do the other things, right? I would have bananas, or I'd have avocados or potatoes, and replenish my potassium through that, and through like just actually taking potassium supplements, right? You want to replenish your electrolytes so that your body actually stays hydrated instead of just replacing the water itself. Because if you drink that water and you don't have the electrolytes, you're going to be dehydrated, because sodium and potassium, those electrolytes mainly, are responsible for you being hydrated. And if you're hydrated, you are less likely to experience less headaches. All right. So again, be hydrated, stay hydrated, not just by drinking water, but by also paying attention to your electrolytes. All right. Also, caffeine is a diuretic, and it will dehydrate you, especially if you aren't hydrated with, proper electrolytes. Okay. So that means even if you don't take caffeine, sodium, potassium, get your 3 liters plus, you're Gucci. Outside of that, if you do take caffeine and you do drink water and you want to stay hydrated, again, you might have to take a little bit more salt, a little bit more potassium, depending on your height, your physical activity levels, and what you're doing, and of course the concentration of it in your body. You don't have to get too scientific with it, but I'm saying that caffeine is also diuretic, and if you sweat by working out, if you sweat just in general, you're a sweaty person, and you take caffeine, you are likely to get more dehydrated, all right, which is also going to put you closer to the danger zone to getting more random headaches, right? That's it. I wanted you to hear that. That's what you needed to know. All right. So, sodium and potassium, get those electrolytes in with your water, regardless of if you take caffeine or not. And that should help you with your hydration. And if it does help with your hydration, it should help with your headaches. All right. So, last but not least, the one thing I want to talk about here with when it comes to caffeine is, I would recommend actually that everybody that does drink coffee, that does take caffeine through the form of pre workout or anything else really, that they slowly decrease the amount of caffeine they consume by at least 1 cup of coffee a day. Like, honestly, if you are drinking more than like 3 or 4 cups of coffee a day, slowly cut it down. If you cut it down drastically, you're going to get fucking headaches. It's part of the withdrawal, but you should gradually cut it down and get to a point where you're at least around 100 milligrams a day. If you need it, or if you feel like it's useful, you can still get the benefits from it at 100 milligrams, then cut it down to that, right? Slowly over time, yes, maybe over 3, 4 weeks even, cut it down. Maybe one less coffee every day. One less coffee every week that you would have your daily coffees. So if you do, for example, 4 coffees a week, next week do three, next week do two, and the final week do 1 coffee a week, and sort of stick to that. You can, come off of it altogether, which is still cool. If you can function properly off of it and you choose to function properly off of it, that's cool, right? But 100 milligrams or less in a day is ideal for you to not really get that hooked. And if you're doing it every single day, of course, 100 milligrams is not going to feel like much to you, and you're going to end up reversing what I just told you. But when you get to 100 milligrams a day, I would like it, and your body and your brain would like it, and your hydration would like it if you didn't have to drink coffee or take caffeine every single day, which means maybe Monday to Friday as you work, you'll have your 100 milligrams a day. And then on the weekends, just chill out, just the 2 days, no caffeine, no coffee, or you have decaf if you like the taste of coffee, right? So that when you get back into the week, the 100 milligrams actually still hits, right? And that's going to gradually increase your tolerance as you take those breaks on the weekend, those 2 days off. You're going to stay, we'll say, your ability to react to 100 milligrams of caffeine is going to stay the same if you give yourself that weekend break of no caffeine, of no coffee, and then you use 100 milligrams or about a cup of coffee a day, Monday through Friday, right? I'm not saying you got to cut it out completely, but definitely keep it on the low end, as low as possible, because you don't need a lot of it for it to work unless you actually take a lot take it all the time and you never give yourself a break. So you've got to give yourself a break in order to increase your tolerance. And when you increase your tolerance, you won't need much of it. All right. And a pro tip here is, again, guys and girls, do a caffeine break for a week or longer if you really have the fucking gusto. If a weekend is a lot for you, then don't listen to what I'm saying. But if you can do it, try to go like 1 week or longer, without caffeine, then slowly reintroduce it back in like half cups of coffee or 50 milligrams of caffeine if you take it through pre-workout, and you can control it through that way, or through tabs. If you take it through tabs, you can control it that way, right? And you can portion it out and balance it between 100 to 200 milligrams of caffeine or 1 to 2 coffees a day when your tolerance is 100% reset. And I recommend that one to people that have consistently been over 400 milligrams, to just cut it down slowly and then try their very best to go one whole week without it. Okay, one whole week without it, and that will be tough. You will experience headaches along the way, but once you do reintroduce it, your tolerance will be reset, and you won't actually need as much as you did in the past, to feel the similar effects, right? And that's what you want. You want to be able to get more from less, right? Less is more in this sense. You don't want to get hooked to caffeine. Take frequent breaks from it. Make sure you're hydrated. Make sure that you are replenishing your micronutrients, your sodium and potassium, specifically those electrolytes, so that you can actually get hydrated. This way you don't fry your receptors and become hooked to it all over again. All right. That's it. That's all. Hope you liked this episode. And if you did, share it out with a friend. I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much for your precious time and attention. All right. Let's embrace your inner meathead together. It's been nice chatting. Hope you like what today's topic was about. IFBB PRO Matt Butale signing out. Boom. Podcast episodes recorded. I'm going to read some of the comments here I got on TikTok and Instagram. And then I'm going to dip out, go hit some chest. Woo. What's up? What's up? What's up? Hope you're having a great too, Zach. A great day too, Zach. I see you, bro. I see you. Hot Rosh, what's good? TR. 800 to 1,000. You got to get that under control. That's not healthy. We talked about that though. Zach says, have you ever had the Cialis headaches? No, bro. I don't even take Cialis. I don't know why anyone would need that, or unless you're like you actually would need it. I don't know why you would take it as if it were caffeine. It's something that you actually would need it in order to take it. But I get pretty hard. Pause. So I don't need that shit. Homie says, I was taking 3 scoops of pre every workout because the itchiness kept going away and I never got the headaches, but the crash was horrible after. Yeah. So in that case, and I've definitely experienced that too. In that case, when you stop taking the pre, or at least that amount of caffeine every day, like if you were to just stop cold turkey for like 2 days, you would feel it on the third day. That headache would just randomly come out of nowhere. It's likely, at least within the first week of just cutting it cold turkey, you'll get that withdrawal headache, which is why I always recommend to slowly decrease the amount of caffeine that you're taking if you decide to, reset your tolerance, and of course, get rid of those random fucking headaches. Ban, I appreciate you. Priyan, what's good? Harjinder, Thomas, thank you for joining. Zach says, facts, fuck coconut water. Yeah, it's disgusting. I don't like it. Priyan says, neurons require on sodium to fire. Yes, that's true. Sodium and potassium, the combination of the two, there is an electric reaction that your neurons, definitely benefit from, that helps send signals through your muscles to contract and all that stuff. So that's true. And he says, so when playing sports and more mentally challenging tasks, sodium is important. Yes, both the combination of sodium and potassium for sure. I definitely put them in the same category. Faraz Deity says, so what's up, bro? I see you, bro. He's like, Swole King is now live. I appreciate you. W for pumps. Bro, I do not take Cialis for pumps. That's the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard. I won't even lie, bro. He says, try it, bro. The pumps are otherworldly, but I was taking too much and was getting terrible migraines and the days I didn't take it. No, I would not take Cialis for fucking any reason at all. There's no reason. And that's how you damage your body, bro. Because there are compounds in there that are meant to do something for your body. Cialis is meant for fucking old men that need erections, man. All right. It's not good for you. I would never do that. I know you're saying trust and you get the coolest pumps. Power to you, man. But I would never fucking do that. That's just irresponsible, man. No, I'm not doing the Cialis shit. Viagra, Cialis, all that shit. Nah. The doctor said it's healthy. Yeah, right. Most doctors don't even know it's healthy. As ironic as that sounds. And I think you know that of all people. You know that, bro. It does increase blood flow. But you know what also does increase blood flow? Nitric oxide, citrulline, arginine, agmatine. The list goes on, bro. And they're way better supplements. Way better supplements. Plus, I wouldn't have to deal with the awkward encounter of me being a fucking 24-year-old buying Cialis. How the fuck do you explain that? Mad, bro. That's funny. I'm just reading some stuff over here on Instagram, buddy. So I'm gonna read some of the stuff here on TikTok real quick. Gonna add more for me. So, guys, if you don't want to change your physiology, just do roids. Um, so if you want to change your physiology, yeah, just do roids and don't waste your time. Not the best advice, bro. I would not recommend that. And I'm a natural bodybuilder, just to let you know. And I turned pro naturally, so you don't need to do that. I don't know if you're young and maybe you're just delusional, but that could be it. Dude, your beard is immaculate. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate the compliments. Um, he says, my fave was glycerol. Yo, to each their own, man. To each their own. To each their own. You know what I mean? All right, people. That's it. That's all. Your boy's gonna go hit chest. I appreciate the conversation we had today, and I hope that you got value. Natty all the way. You know what time it is, bro. Natty all the way. There's no need to hop on PDs for no fucking reason to change your physiology. You can change your physiology without that. What's up, Kirby? I see you, son. Luke, I appreciate the follow. You know what time it is. But yeah, to talk to what was his name again, real quick? To Two Tone Sound. I appreciate you for actually just commenting, because most people that join don't comment, but I think that's a little bit reckless to just recommend randoms hop on sauce to change their body, man. To change their body. That's not what you want to do. You don't want to just randomly depend on any compound for a result. The only thing you should really be depending on is out of everything, and in this order: nutrition first, okay, training second, rest third, and supplementation fourth. Those are the four things that will change your physiology more than any sauce that you'll ever fucking buy. Because if you can't master those four things, you can take all the sauce in the world. You still look like a bag of shit. And that's just the truth. It's not my opinion. I know my homie's trolling here. He says, how to increase estrogen? Just fucking eat soy, man. Be a soy boy. My G. Let's see. He says, Matt, come to Alabama someday and lift with me, bro. Definitely, bro. One day, absolutely one day. When I'm not so fucking busy, I can fly down, go to Alabama. Hopefully, they don't fucking kill me over there. But that would be dope. Honestly, that would be dope. I've never been to Alabama either. Rush says, I'm coming to Good Life. Good shit, man. I'll be seeing you in a bit then, I guess. I'm gonna go smash some fucking some pecs today. So that's gonna be pretty epic. You know what time it is. Yo, what up, Leroy? What's happening? Shoot me a text message, bro. Shoot me a text message. We gotta catch up. You know what we gotta talk about. We gotta catch up. All right, people. That's it. That's all. I appreciate y'all, motherfuckers. Facts, give me a few more months to recover and I'm down. Absolutely. You're going to make that full recovery. Then we're going to go there and fucking raise hell and barbells, my G. All right. Peace, love, and protein, motherfuckers. I'll be back again with another episode. You know what time it is. I'm going to go hit this chest. Hope you guys and girls hit a fucking sick workout. Eat your damn meals. Stay fucking hydrated and be good. All right. We out. Boom.